I have a movie that you can do a Tales from the Butch side of. I would love to see this movie eviscerated. I regret wasting a moment of my life on this movie. It was so bad. It was called U-Turn. It is awful. Paul and I were just like, what the fuck did we just waste our time on? Terrible movie.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, let me cut to the chase. U-Turn is a shitty movie. Just embarrassingly bad. Like, if I was watching this as a teenager and my mom walked in, I would have just switched to porn.
Butch, are you watching that Oliver Stone movie again?
No, I'm watching Two Girls, One Cup, I swear. So why am I being so harsh? Well, here's the thing. By all rights, this movie should have been amazing. It had an all-star cast. Sean Penn, Jennifer Lopez, Nick Nolte, Powers Booth, John Voight, Billy Bob Thornton, Joaquin Phoenix, the guy from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, Claire Danes, and it was directed by the legend himself, Oliver Stone. By all rights, this movie should have swept the Oscars like a janitor on crack. So what went wrong with this movie? Well, in my opinion, Oliver Stone is what went wrong with this movie. To be clear, I'm a huge fan of his work. Platoon, amazing. Wall Street, a classic. The Hand, a hidden gem that doesn't get enough praise. The man is just a brilliant filmmaker, except for when it comes to making crime movies. Because for some reason, he thinks the same people who like to watch crime movies also like to take illicit drugs while watching crime movies. Of course, I'm referring to his hit classic, 1994's Natural Born Killers. Now, I say hit classic because for some reason, this movie has a huge cult following. I personally think it sucks. I couldn't get past the first 5 minutes of it. But I imagine the people who are fans of this movie also think that the Joker and Harley Quinn have a healthy relationship, and they see Scarface as some kind of role model.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, Stone got a lot of praise for that movie. Most of it unwarranted, in my opinion. And he thought, hey, let me see if I can hit lightning twice, and crapped out U-Turn in 1997. And I get it. Martin Scorsese remade Goodfellas twice, and it was awesome. But Oliver Stone is not Martin Scorsese. Natural Born Killers is not Goodfellas. And U-Turn sure as hell ain't Casino. Now, U-Turn is not a carbon copy of Natural Born Killers, but it's made in the same style. The same surreal, unsettling, artsy bullshit, same unimaginative bullshit that you see in a film student. Like, I don't actually have anything creative to say, but if I present it in this really bizarre manner, you'll think I'm being creative. And the cinematography is just all over the place. Like, there's this one part in the beginning where it suddenly switches to black and white. And I understand that can be used as a storytelling device, but it's not used like that here. It's just there. And then they never go back to that. This is the one clip that's shot in black and white throughout the whole movie. Why? What's the point? What are you trying to tell us, Mr. Stone? That you ran out of color film? And then it does this annoying thing that I absolutely hate that I see in so many of these lowbrow, try-hard movies, where somebody's talking, and then while they're talking, you get this slow-mo shot of their face, but they're still talking.
You fix it, or do I have to go someplace else?
Someplace else? Bud, someplace else is 50 miles from here. That old station that is downtown, that thing closed, must have been, God, 3 years ago, something like that.
Okay, I'm stuck. You happy?
Again, why? What is the point? Just pick a cinematic style and stay with it. As if the visuals weren't jarring enough, the soundtrack is painful at best. And again, much like the movie itself, it should have been awesome. Because Oliver Stone got the same guy that scored The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But I guess scoring a shitty soundtrack for a shitty movie was on that guy's bucket list. All that being said, the movie does have some great performances. Others not so much. But most of the actors here brought their A game. It's kind of like listening to Saint Anger for the first time. James starts out with a pretty jamming guitar riff and you're like, hey, this is cool. But then Lars comes in with a snare drum and all of a sudden you're angry at God for giving you ears. Have I made it clear that this is a bad movie? Am I getting through to you at all? Because I can keep going. But I think I made my point, so let's just get into the movie itself. Now, normally I like to do a scene-by-scene breakdown, but I don't want to torture my audience any more than normal, so let me just sum it up. A drifter rolls into a small Nevada town after he has some car trouble, has some awkward run-ins with the locals, winds up getting entangled with a married couple that each want him to murder the other. Wackiness ensues, and everybody winds up dead.
If you refuse, you die. She dies. Everybody dies.
Sounded reasonable to me.
Now, it's actually a little more nuanced than that, and I'll get into the nitty-gritty as I break down the characters and how they interact with each other, because that's the real meat and potatoes of this movie. It's just this really interesting loser having a bunch of bizarre interactions with really out there characters, and that's what makes this movie even remotely watchable. Alright, so the characters. First up, we got Bobby Cooper, played by Sean Penn. However, for the purposes of this review, he shall be referred to as Spicoli.
Right here, dude.
And when I say this movie has brilliant performances, his is the cream of the crop. He really does an outstanding job here.
You motherfucker! Motherfucker! You motherfucking big fucking son of a...
You just can't help yourself, can you, mister?
Fuck you!
You're out of control.
But that has nothing to do with the movie, the plot, or the writing. That is simply Sean Penn's skill as an actor. If you're a business owner and you ask Sean Penn to record your store hours for your answering machine, he will deliver you a haunting reminder of how fleeting our time here is on Earth and we need to savor every moment. Basically, I would sum up his performance in this movie as a set of Dayton rims on a Volvo. Yeah, that's really impressive, but it's still a fucking Volvo. So anywho, Spicoli is in debt to these Russian loan sharks. These guys don't play a big role, but they are his motivation for getting him into the fuckery that's to come, so I do need to mention them. The first person that Spicoli meets is a mechanic named Daryl, played by Billy Bob Thornton. And this is the other truly amazing performance in this movie.
Just take a look at the radiator hose. I think it's bust.
Well, it's your radiator hose. It's busted.
I know that. What did I just tell you?
Well, Chief, if you know so damn much, why didn't you just fix it yourself? Hell.
With all due respect for Sling Blade, I'm going to go on record and say this is Billy Bob Thornton's greatest character ever. He is just hilarious. And I don't mean zany, over-the-top Jim Carrey hilarious. I mean subtle, under-the-radar William H. Macy hilarious.
I got him a bottle. It's worth $700-800 easy. You could sell it for that.
Well, shit, sell it to who? I can't see no numbers.
You don't have to be numbers on it. That's why it's expensive. Look at the gold.
No day, no date, shit. As far as I can tell, this ain't worth a duck's part. Looky here. I've got that one for $3.75. It's got every doodad you can ever imagine on it. I believe I'll just stick with it.
Next, the goalie meets a blind Indian played by John Boyd. Don't cancel me, that's how he's credited. Blind Indian. Real original. And it makes sense that they don't give him a name because the guy is totally useless. Absolutely just brings nothing to the table. He's just somebody for Spicoli to interact with while they desperately pad the runtime. Now, I know John Voight is supposed to have this big-time rep as an actor. I have to wonder how he even got cast in this movie. Here's my theory.
I've got a theory.
U-Turn came out in 1997 alongside Anaconda, which also starred Jennifer Lopez and John Voight. In fact, he even uses the same stupid fake accent for both characters.
Dog looks like he could use a sip. He looks sick.
That's because he's dead.
Huh? What?
I hope you wasn't petting him none with.
A salad go well with Fish River style, Mr. Cerrone?
A salad would be perfect.
I kind of feel like they were just hanging out on the set one day, and Jennifer was like,
So, got this Oliver Stone thing later on. Want to tag along?
yeah, sure, why not? But I'm not breaking character. Was Graham Greene not available? Where's Wes Studi at in 97? Preparing for his epic role in Mystery Men?
He who questions training only trains himself at asking questions. What?
No, I'm just kidding. Wes Studi was awesome in that movie. I just kind of feel like Oliver Stone went nuts with the casting and then realized he didn't have enough parts for these guys to play. Just began throwing darts at the wall. Next, Spicoli runs into Toby and Tucker.
I don't think you know who I am. The name's Toby N. Tucker. People around here call me TNT. You know why?
They're not very imaginative.
Because I'm just like Dynamite Boy, and when I go off, somebody gets hurt.
Played by Joaquin Phoenix, and much like the Blind Indian, he does nothing to push the plot forward. However, unlike the Blind Indian, his segments are wildly entertaining.
Oh, no. Now, I'm seeing, but I'm not believing. No. Mister, what do you think you're doing, my girl?
I'm gonna take you, break you into a million pieces, and take those pieces and break them into a million more. What about that? Yeah! I'm gonna beat you so bad you ain't gonna be nothing but soup for the rest of your days.
Again, this is another example of a brilliant actor being given a shitty script and turning it into gold. And interesting note, in almost every scene that he's in, which is only like 2 or 3 of them, Johnny Cash is playing in the background. I thought that was pretty cool.
Come on, girl. I'll have mine make you walk home.
And Claire Danes plays Toby's crazy-ass girlfriend, Jenny. Her performance isn't exactly earth-shattering. She had to lean heavily on Toby's energy to make her character work, but it's still entertaining to watch.
That's right, mister. You better be scared. I told you it wasn't open. You didn't believe me. Now, if I just sneak around my door behind my back...
I'm not sneaking around your girlfriend. Will you tell him what the fuck you doing then?
You're too late, Toby. We're gonna get in his fancy car and ride off and leave you behind.
What the hell are you talking about?
What's your name, anyway?
Then there's some nice little cameos sprinkled in. Powers fucking Booth. Yes, that is his full name. Julie Hargety, Laurie Metcalf. And according to IMDb, this is Liv Tyler, but I'm gonna have to take their word for it. Okay, so, as I keep saying, all this is just filler to stretch out this Law & Order SVU episode into a feature-length film.
She's yours. You've been sleeping with your own daughter! How many years does he get for incest, Lieutenant?
Oh my God.
That reference will make a lot more sense towards the end of this review. Eventually, Spicoli meets the town bicycle, Grace, played by Jennifer Lopez. And she is terrible in this movie. Now, I don't want to disrespect J-Lo too much. I think she's an incredibly talented person. But it seemed like in the late 90s and early 2000s, her acting career was just all over the place. Like she was just throwing whatever she had against the wall to see if it would stick. You think I'm exaggerating? Let's look at the 10 movies she made between 1997 and 2003. Monster movie. This piece of shit. Crime comedy. Animated kids movie. Sci-fi horror. Romantic comedy. Romantic drama. Thriller. Romantic comedy drama. Whatever the fuck Geely was supposed to be. J-Lo. Sweetie. You don't have to take every single role that's offered to you. You're not Gary Oldman. Yeah, so anyway, she's terrible here. It's like your only preparation for the role was watching those ridiculous Anna Nicole Smith trim spa commercials.
Like my body?
Like, for example.
And here, I made you all hot and sweaty.
Morning, Grace.
Morning, Sheriff.
Sheriff? What the hell is a sheriff? Oh, you mean sheriff. Okay, J-Lo, dial it down a little, okay? You're here. We need you here. This isn't Rocky Horror Picture Show. You don't need to be selling it with every line, okay? Anyways, she offers to let Spicoli freshen up at her place while his car's getting fixed, and they have a painfully drawn-out seduction scene.
Can't find my own way back into town.
Maybe I'd like to know about a man first. Maybe I'd like to find out what he's made of.
Thanks for the lemonade.
You still didn't answer my question.
Still playing.
What is it you want?
This is boring! Just fuck already! So they finally start to get down and dirty, when, right on cue...
Then the front door coat bust in. It was a fucking husband, 6'10". I knew my life was soon in. Homeboy tried to kill me.
Meet Grace's husband, Jake, played by Nick Nolte.
And I suppose you didn't have anything to do with it, Grace. He just wandered up here himself. I got a mind to put you over my knee and paddle your ass raw.
I'm not going to say this is a great Nick Nolte performance. It's certainly not Down and Out in Beverly Hills or 48 Hours, But he does a pretty good job here, and he seems to have fun with it. Naturally, Spicoli hits the bricks, but Jake's like, hey, buddy, no hard feelings. I get it. She's hot. Hop in. Let me give you a ride to town. So, since you're here, you want to kill my wife? He solicits murder for hire like he's asking him to help him move a couch.
I bet you just wanted to kill her. Would you?
But that would help Spicoli with his current financial situation.
Why don't you get a job, Spicoli?
What for?
You need money.
So Spicoli goes to do the deed, but before he gets his chance, J-Lo, unaware of what's going on, says, hey, why don't you kill Jake? Then we could be together. And naturally, Spicoli's like, are you crazy? We just met. You honestly think that if I killed your husband, I could ever trust you? You really believe we'd actually have any kind of... I mean, since you're putting it that way. So yeah, J-Lo uses her vagina powers to convince Spicoli to kill Jake later on that evening, and while he's skulking his way through the house, we're treated to this completely unnecessary sex scene. Yes, that is indeed a 56-year-old Nick Nolte going doggy style on a 28-year-old Jennifer Lopez. Let that image burn into your consciousness. Naturally, Spicoli has all the stealth skills of a drunken gorilla with a jackhammer, and Jake gets the drop on him. And Spicoli immediately turns to Jell-O.
Okay, I admit it. I fucked her. It's not me you have to worry about, Jake. It's her. She wants you dead. She wants you dead. She wants your money. What are you babbling about? Think about it. How do you think I got in here? Did you hear any glass break? Did you hear any doors shatter? How'd the evening end, Jake? When you went to bed, did she linger just long enough? Just long enough to leave a back door open? Huh?
And that's what I love about this character. He's just this pathetic loser. He has no morals, no scruples, no convictions. He's not a badass. He's not some macho tough guy like most characters are in these films. I mean, there's this one cool scene where he beats the shit out of Toby because he's had enough of his shit. But that's nothing to brag about. That's kind of like beating up Rick Moranis. So anyways, Spicoli and J-Lo manage to get the drop on Jake, murder his ass, crack open his safe, and now they have all his money. And Spicoli finally gets the $200 he needs to pay off Daryl to get his freaking car back. So with keys in hand and a fresh radiator hose, they shove Jake in the trunk and go to look for a nice secluded spot to dump him. And along the way, they have this really nice tender moment.
Shit I've taken. I thought you were just like him. Then you came out of that house. Well, you're here. We might be starting in the ship, but we're starting someplace I've never been before. Together with someone. With you.
I love you, Bobby.
We're gonna pull this off, Grace. We're gonna pull this off.
Gets you right here, doesn't it? So anyways, like 30 seconds later...
Baby, I would never do that to you. He killed Jake, and he said he'd kill me if I didn't come with him. All he wants is the money. What?
Okay, I just want to make that joke. Let's rewind a little bit. Remember Sheriff Virgil? Well, he comes out of nowhere and pulls him over, and J-Lo immediately turns on Spicoli. Now, they don't come out and say it, but it's implied that while Spicoli was off getting his car, she called Virgil and told him where they were going to be at so he could intervene. But J-Lo gets the drop on Virgil and kills him, but not before it's revealed that she and Virgil had been fucking for several years, and that she originally wanted him to kill Jake so they could be together. But before Virgil gets whacked, he drops one more truth bomb.
Did she tell you the story about how old Jake forced her to marry him? That's a good one, that one.
Anybody want to guess what it is? Anybody at all?
That's how he killed her crazy mother, huh? But I bet I got a story for you.
What is the one twist that Hollywood loves to cram into any TV and movie show they think they can get away with it?
Oh, crazy Jake was really her mama.
That's right, incest. Hollywood just loves their incest.
I'm your sister. I'm your sister.
Oh, you're my sister!
Well, naturally, Spicoli's like, what the fuck, bitch? And she swears up and down that this is all part of her big master plan.
Please believe me! Please believe me!
To get her husband out of the way, and the guy that she's been fucking behind her husband's back for several years out of the way, so she and this guy she just met 24 hours earlier could be together with all of her husband's money. And of course, Spicoli's like,
Oh, gnarly!
so they dump Jake and Virgil down a ravine, and J-Lo seizes the opportunity to dump Spicoli. And honestly, if you didn't see that coming, you're as blind as John Voight is very badly pretending to be. But whoops, so J-Lo has to shimmy her ass down there. And Spicoli does what he should have done an hour and a half ago and just strangled her fucking ass. Somehow manages to climb his busted ass back to the car. And then all of a sudden, whoops! Damn it, Daryl! So of course he's stranded in the middle of nowhere. Broken leg, busted car, no water, no Oscar nominations, total goner. And that's U-Turn. Probably the shittiest movie in Oliver Stone's library. And that's just not my opinion. Fans didn't like it. Critics didn't like it. Hell, Siskel and Ebert put it on their list of worst movies of the year. Normally, the more those two asshats hate something, the more I'm going to love it. This is probably the one time in history that we were in total agreement. But it seemed that Oliver Stone learned his lesson and just stopped making crime movies. But, Ollie, buddy, keep making crime movies. We love crime movies. Just divorce yourself from the concept that a crime movie needs to look like it was edited inside a blender, okay? Well, I'm Butch. That's all I got for now. I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, I met this girl the other night. Hype, super dope body and face, a mini skirt tight. Talking about legs and lips, mind-blowing hips. Had to cross my legs just to look at her tits. Said she came out looking for some fun. Looked me in my eyes and told me I was the one. I said, why? She said I was fly. Grabbed me by my hand and I thought I would die. Said she wanted to take me home to make love. Now that's the kind of rap that brothers dream of. I said fast, slow, hard or soft, baby. She said all the above. This girl tried to kill